Tate has a long history of saying that he doesn't believe in marriage at all, that he believes men should have multiple women, and that no one woman can satisfy a man. He has recently, converted to Islam, and actually later in the episode he talks about the mothers of his children. So, his model of what a model masculine man, I think, is very different than Tucker's, who, my understanding, is both Christian and monogamously married.
Welcome to The Debrief, where we talk with the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the headlines they're covering and where the story's going next. I'm Sarah Bedford, and I'm here with commentary editor Conn Carroll. And Conn, Tucker Carlson this week interviewed Andrew Tate. For people who don't know, Andrew Tate is a very controversial commentator who is also facing criminal charges for human trafficking. You wrote a sort of interesting take about how little Tucker Carlson seemed to understand about Tate's views and how Tate's views sort of differ from those that he expressed in that interview. Tell us about this whole situation.
Sure. So it seemed like the whole interview, Tucker was trying to rehabilitate and help Tate along as much as possible. The first part of it was all centered on the specifics of the indictment and what evidence was or was not there, and my post didn't really touch on that. What I found interesting was when the conversation turned towards marriage. Tucker really seemed to try to get Tate to say, like, look, the most important thing in life is finding one woman to settle down with and making her happy and all that stuff. And Tucker's like, oh, that's fantastic, that's what I believe. And then Tate answered back, absolutely, me too. And it's like, hold on a second, no you don't. Because Tate has a long history of saying that he doesn't believe in marriage at all, that he believes men should have multiple women, and that no one woman can satisfy a man. He has recently, converted to Islam, and actually later in the episode he talks about the mothers of his children. So, his model of what a model masculine man, I think, is very different than Tucker's, who, my understanding, is both Christian and monogamously married. So I think when you get down to what type of behavior and models of appropriate behavior we have, I don't think Andrew Tate is the person that conservatives should be looking up to.
What do you think Tucker Carlson's thinking was when he tried, as you say, to rehabilitate Andrew Tate's image? Why would he do that?
Clicks. I mean, look, Andrew Tate is a very divisive, but because of that, popular online figure. Just in my own kind of personal ways, I coached my daughter's soccer team and heard, these would be, 12, 13-year-old girls talking about Andrew Tate at soccer. I was kind of taken aback. I didn't know that he was, that well known on that level. And so, he has a following, a worldwide following around the world, in the English-speaking world, of people that like his vision. And so I think Tucker was trying to tap into that as he built his own Twitter, not TV, Twitter video empire, I guess you'd call it.
And finally, the Washington Examiner had an editorial this week about a North Dakota lawsuit involving deadlines that allow county officials to count ballots way after Election Day.
Right.
Tell us about the lawsuit and then what the broader implications could be depending on the ruling.
Right. So this is a problem that doesn't happen just in North Dakota. It happens in many states. California is probably the worst offender. But basically you have, not online, but mail-in voting has become very popular. And there are some states that do it well and some states that don't. So a lot of states like Florida and Georgia also have mail-in voting, but they have a rule where that they will give you early days to do mail-in voting or in-person voting, so you can come in and vote early. But all the ballots are going to be counted on Election Day. So if you mail something in and it doesn't come in until a day after Election Day, too bad. Whereas North Dakota and California, they allow ballots to come in up to 2 weeks afterwards. And so if you're not even counting ballots until 2 weeks after Election Day, of course, Election Day is going to turn into election month. And that just undermines democratic values. It undermines faith in the system, because if you have these states, often they're democratically run, where you have some results on Election Day, but then 2 weeks later, those election results are very different. That's going to undermine confidence in the system. And so this lawsuit says, look, Congress specifically set one day as Election Day. And so therefore, there's a federal need, there's a federal requirement here to make votes counted on that day, so that the American voters can be confident that we're going to have an Election Day, we will know the results, and we can end this election month nonsense.
Well, Conn, thank you so much for being here today.
Absolutely.
You can get more writing from Conn and the rest of the commentary team at washingtonexaminer.com.